Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, The Quiet Noon When Tama Slept Peacefully. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't and like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. The noon arrived quietly, the way it always did in our small home, without announcements or hurry. Sunlight slipped through the thin curtains and rested gently on the wooden floor, warming it just enough to make the room feel alive but calm. Outside, the world continued as usual. Distant motorbikes hummed, a neighbor swept fallen leaves, and somewhere far away a radio played a familiar tune. Inside, however, time seemed to slow down, as if the house itself had decided to take a deep breath. Tama lay in the center of the living room, stretched out like a fluffy comma between morning and afternoon. His small chest rose and fell in a steady rhythm, each breath soft and confident, as if he trusted the world completely. One ear twitched now and then, responding to sounds that barely existed, while his paws curled inward, holding invisible dreams. Tama was not a big dog. He didn't have the dramatic presence of a guard dog or the elegance of a show dog. He was simply Tama, warm, gentle, and wonderfully ordinary. His fur, a mix of soft brown and cream, caught the sunlight and turned golden at the edges. When he slept, his face relaxed in a way that made it impossible not to smile. It was the kind of smile that came from the heart, unplanned and sincere. I sat nearby with a cup of tea that had already gone lukewarm. Normally, I would be distracted by my phone, messages, or thoughts about unfinished work. But that day, something about Tama's peaceful sleep pulled me into the moment. I watched him closely, noticing details I often overlooked. The tiny whiskers near his nose, the slight movement of his tail when he slipped deeper into sleep, the quiet confidence of a creature that felt completely safe. The room smelled faintly of clean laundry and warm air. There was no rush, no pressure, just a dog sleeping and a human watching, both sharing the same space without needing words. At one point, Tama let out a small sigh, the kind humans make after a long day. Even though his day had been simple, breakfast, a short walk, a little play, and now rest. That sigh felt contagious. My shoulders relaxed. My breathing slowed. Without realizing it, I matched my pace to his. In that quiet noon, Tama wasn't just sleeping. He was teaching something gentle and important. That peace does not need to be earned through productivity or noise. Sometimes, peace simply arrives when we allow ourselves to be present. As Tama continued to sleep, I wondered what his dreams might look like. Dogs, I had read, dream just like humans do. They relive moments, chase memories, and wander through emotions in ways we may never fully understand. Watching Tama, I imagined his dreams were filled with familiar paths and simple joys. Perhaps he was running through the small park near our house, where the grass always smelled interesting and the ground held stories left behind by other dogs. In his dream, his legs moved faster than they ever could in real life. His ears flew back, and the world opened wide in front of him, full of excitement but no fear. Or maybe he was dreaming of home. In Tama's world, home wasn't defined by walls or furniture. Home was wherever I was. It was the sound of my footsteps, the way my voice changed when I called his name, the warmth of sitting close together on quiet afternoons. In his dream, perhaps he curled up beside me again, even though he was already there. Tama stirred slightly, his paws making small movements, as if he were walking somewhere far away. His mouth opened just a little, releasing a soft sound that felt more like a whisper than a bark. It made me laugh quietly, careful not to wake him. What struck me most was how completely Tama trusted his surroundings. He slept deeply, without tension, without alertness. He did not worry about what might happen next or what he needed to do later. His world, at that moment, was safe and complete. I realized how rare that feeling had become for me. Even during rest, my mind often raced ahead, planning, worrying, replaying conversations, imagining future problems. Tama, on the other hand, lived fully in the now. When it was time to be active, he was active with his whole body. When it was time to rest, he rested with his whole heart. A gentle breeze passed through the open window, making the curtains sway slightly. Tama's fur moved with it, and he shifted just enough to find a cooler spot on the floor. It was such a small adjustment, but it showed how in tune he was with his needs. No guilt, no hesitation, just instinct and self-care. In that moment, I understood that Tama's life, though simple, was rich in ways we often forget. His happiness didn't come from owning things or achieving goals. It came from connection, routine, trust, and rest. He found joy in being close, in being cared for, and in offering quiet companionship in return. The house remained still, and time continued to pass gently, unnoticed. Tama slept on, carrying his small world inside him, while I sat there, learning without a lesson being spoken. The quiet noon when Tama slept peacefully is more than just a tender memory. It is a gentle reminder of how we might live better alongside the animals who share our lives. Tama shows us that life does not always need to be fast, loud, or full of achievement to be meaningful. Sometimes, the most valuable moments are the calm ones we almost overlook. From Tama, we can learn to respect rest, not only for ourselves, but for the animals we care for. Giving them a safe, calm environment is not a small thing. It is a foundation of trust. When an animal feels secure enough to sleep deeply, it means we have done something right as humans. In our daily lives, we can apply this lesson by slowing down, observing more, and listening without words. Spend quiet time with your pets. Notice their rhythms. Allow yourself to match their pace, even if only for a few minutes a day. This shared calm strengthens the bond between humans and animals and improves emotional well-being on both sides. Most importantly, Tama reminds us that kindness does not need to be dramatic. Gentle care, consistency, and presence are enough to create a life where both humans and animals can feel safe, loved, and truly at home together.